Alien. One of them franchises we hold near and dear to our geek hearts. But no matter how many times we watch them, there are still questions the films leave us with. In this video, I'll be ranking some things, some happenings, some lines in these films that have left a lot of us scratching our heads. How do xenomorphs grow so fast? Where did the name xenomorph even come from? Who the hell are the Arcturians? And FYI, in this video, I might mention the last 4 films, but I'm only focusing on the first 2, the originals, the heart and soul of the franchise. So don't you go anywhere. But before we get into it, make sure you hit that like button. And of course, make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell so you know when I upload new videos. Alright, with no further ado, number 8. What was up with that xenomorph at the end of the first film? After Ripley gets into the escape pod and she's getting ready for cryogenic sleep, she notices that alien up wedged against the wall against some pipes. It seems sluggish and even looks like it's yawning at one point. But it was right there the whole time. Right there in the same room as Ripley was just casually getting ready for the trip. Why didn't it attack her? It was like it was more focused on taking a nap than attacking Ripley, which it could have easily done. I mean, she was completely vulnerable. That I know of, there are 2 theories floating around out there. One is hibernation, that the xenomorphs sneak onto spaceships, hide, and go into hibernation for the long trips. So the theory goes that the xenomorph from Alien 1 was doing just that, sparing Ripley to ensure that they both safely get to their destination. Somebody has to navigate the ship, where upon arrival, the xenomorph would waken out of hibernation and continue its killing spree. The second theory is that they die shortly after cocooning their victims, that the species only has one purpose, and that is to complete the xenomorph life cycle. So here's the thing, in Aliens, when the Sulaco arrives onto LV-426, there's already an army of xenomorphs and hundreds of eggs waiting for them. This means that the colonists had to have baby xenomorphs burst out of their chest to begin with. There had to be more than one wave of xenomorphs. Someone had to drag all the colonists back to the nest, right? So dragging them back to the nest and cocooning them was impossible until the second wave of xenomorphs. And because Ripley and the colonial marines had to be cryogenically frozen for the long trip to LV-426, this implies that the trip was pretty lengthy, in turn implying that the xenomorphs were on LV-426 a good amount of time after cocooning the colonists, putting the theory to rest, in my opinion. But what about the hibernation theory? Well, I guess for now, it's just gonna have to stand as plausible. I mean, there's nothing else we can go based off of in the entire franchise, including Prometheus and Alien Covenant. Told you I was gonna mention them. We're just gonna have to roll with it. Maybe they're an interplanetary, intersolar, intergalactic species that's superbly adapted at being excellent stowaways and spreading around the universe. Number 7. Why the hell was Dallas from the first film cocooned? What do I mean by that? Okay, check this out. In the director's cut of the original Alien, there's a scene where as Ripley's making her escape from the Nostromo, she comes across a cocooned Dallas. The problem I have with this is that there is no reason, according to the established canon, why Dallas should have been cocooned. We know that xenomorphs cocoon their victims in front of facehugger eggs for easy impregnation. But as far as we know, there were no facehuggers nor eggs on the Nostromo. So what's up with that? Then there's the question as to why the xenomorph cocooned Dallas yet kills the rest of the Nostromo crew. But that is the subject for number 6. Why do the xenomorphs cocoon some yet kill others? Throughout the franchise, the xenomorphs kill some people yet decide to drag others to cocoon them at the nest. And while a lot of the kills that the xenomorphs do make are off screen, we do get a lot of clues that tell us that the xenomorphs kill them on sight. Take for instance the little girl Newt in Aliens, the sequel. She was completely healthy when Ripley tears her out of that cocooning material. She didn't have a scratch on her. So how do the xenomorphs choose who they're gonna kill and who they're gonna sacrifice to the facehuggers? Are they maybe able to somehow analyze their victim's DNA to decide compatibility? Or maybe they decide to kill whoever they meet when they're hungry, and if they come across somebody else and they're not hungry, they're like, hey, let me cocoon this dude. I don't know. What do you guys think? Let me know down in the comments and then come right back, because right now, number 5. Towards the end of the first film, Ripley discovers that Ash has been instructed by the Weyland Corporation to bring back a xenomorph even at the expense of the crew. Then in Aliens, after she's rescued and then interrogated by the Weyland Corporation committee, and here's number 5, why doesn't Ripley confront the committee about the mission they gave Ash and deeming the crew expendable? I mean, maybe they don't do this because they don't even believe her about the xenomorphs in the first place, but come on, she should have known that was an act. They're pretending not to believe her. Like, I think that scene should have been her accusing the committee and them just kind of pretending not to know about it to save face. And then they have Burke, who goes back, tells her that they're trying to find the colonists, but in reality he has his own mission to bring back a xenomorph just like Ash. I mean, she should have been way suspicious instead of acting like it was all Ash. Hello, Ripley, it was the corporation. They're the ones that sent Ash on that mission. You saw the order. Do you really believe that by some lightning strike of a chance, a 1 in a million coincidence, that the Weyland-Yutani Corporation would choose LV-426 as the planet to terraform and colonize? They knew all along. I mean, that sounds pretty damn coincidental, doesn't it? That in the 57 years that Ripley was drifting in space, the Weyland-Yutani Corporation happened to magically, coincidentally choose LV-426, where there was a derelict ship full of facehugger eggs, as the planet they were gonna terraform and colonize? In fact, here's my theory that anyone could have come up with, but this is without the prequels, Alien Covenant and Prometheus. And I don't know, maybe it's floating somewhere out there in the internet cloud. I just haven't come across it because I came up with this on my own. You ready? Here goes. The Weyland-Yutani Corporation knew about the derelict ship all along. It just didn't know where it was at. It always had a plan that if any of their ships, no matter what their job was, should they receive a signal, they will go right to it. And if it happened to be the derelict ship, the plans to take back a xenomorph would be downloaded onto the android that accompanied the crew. After Ash's mission was unsuccessful, the Weyland-Yutani Corporation decides to colonize LV-426 and encourage the colonizers to go out and explore by incentivizing them that if they find anything of value, they would get a big cut. And this is supported in Aliens when we see these two gentlemen discussing how Newt's parents would be compensated when they go out on this rover. This way, if a bunch of colonists are out exploring, the chances the derelict ship will be found are gonna go up exponentially, right? You can probably poke a bunch of holes into this theory because Bishop, he's owned by the Weyland-Yutani Corporation, but he's never on board with bringing the xenomorph back on board like Burke wants to do. But hey, we gotta start somewhere, right? Moving on, number 4. This is a trippy one. Are the xenomorphs really xenomorphs? You know, most of us geeks, when we hear the word xenomorph, we immediately know, oh, that creature from the Alien franchise. However, whoever said they were xenomorphs?
All we know is that there's still no contact with the colony and that the xenomorph may be involved.
Oh yeah, there is that, isn't there? But wait a minute, let's dig in. First, Ripley's confronted by the committee, who when Ripley describes the creature...
These are your words. A creature that gestates inside a living human host. Yes. And has concentrated acid for blood.
That's right.
They don't believe her, therefore implying they have no clue what these creatures are. But wait a minute, you might say. You might say that I just said that the Weyland Corporation knew the entire time about the derelict ship and its cargo, and that's why they sent Ash in the first place and then Burke. I mean, maybe they did know about these creatures, but nobody ever called them xenomorphs. But what about Gorman, right? I mean, he says it. It's right there. And that's probably, I mean, guaranteed, is where xenomorph came from. Then, taking what the term means, xeno and then morph, xeno meaning something alien, morphing meaning to reshape. And we know that these creatures merge with the victim's DNA to give some offspring that resembles both. We can see how we would conclude, oh, they're xenomorphs. We see humanoid xenomorphs in Aliens 1 and 2, and then one that resembles a dog in 3. But here's my problem with this, is that we only ever get to see that dog xenomorph after we all believe that they're called xenomorphs. You know, after we all decide that, bam, Gorman called them xenomorphs, therefore they're xenomorphs. But there's also a good argument that because everybody held on to xenomorph, the director of 3 and 4 also held on to xenomorph and then decided to run with it. Here's the thing, why would Gorman use xenomorph when he clearly had no idea what the creatures on LV-426 were, nor did any of the Marines. Ripley's standing there describing them to the Colonial Marines, but yet nobody has a clue as to what the hell she's talking about. Even Gorman, who used the term, should know what they are, right? But he has no clue what that cocoon material stuff is on the walls once they're on LV-426, or what they look like, or how dangerous they are. He doesn't know any of it. Like, if he knew when they found out that all the colonists were in one place, you know, that ended up being the nest, he would have immediately known, like, oh, they're all being cocooned, they're xenomorphs. Yep, that's what they do. But he had no clue. They thought it was a convention. I mean, I know that was a joke, but come on. The thing is that there's evidence in this universe that people are familiar with other extraterrestrial species in this universe, and we'll actually be discussing that further down the list, so keep watching. And so when Gorman says
Xenomorph may be involved,
it's probably more likely that he's referring to something else, something less dangerous, some other kind of extraterrestrial life form that's not as dangerous as xenomorphs are. But viewers heard xenomorphs, they show us these creatures, and we all run with it. Now, go ahead and Google xenomorph, and this pops up. That's what they are. We'll leave it at that, because now, number 3, what the hell are bug hunts? In a couple of throwaway lines where Gorman debriefs the Colonial Marines, as all the Marines are standing there listening, Hudson raises his hand. Is this another stand-up fight, sir, or another bug hunt? And then a little bit later, hear another Marine confirm it's a bug hunt. So what the hell are they talking about? One theory is that because they're Colonial Marines, they protect colonists on other planets from its native life, much the same way the US military would defend settlers from Native Americans, and that sometimes these extraterrestrial native life was intelligent and used weapons, hence the term stand-up fight. Or they were sometimes large native animal life that resembled bugs, and therefore bugs became this generic term anytime they were referencing some kind of animal native extraterrestrial life that they had to protect colonists from. I don't know. Let me know down in the comments, what do you guys think these so-called bug hunts are? Alright guys, number 2. We're almost there. Who the hell are the Arcturians? In another throwaway line that implies that humans are aware of and have met extraterrestrial beings in the Alien franchise, as the Marines are having their first meal after waking up from their cryogenic sleep, one of the jarheads mentions he wouldn't mind having some more of that Arcturian poontang. In other words, that he wouldn't mind sleeping with these so-called Arcturians. Well, who are they? They've never made an appearance in the entire franchise, not even in games, but they have been mentioned. I personally have no idea what clues about the Arcturians these mentions have, but what I do know is that according to Xenopedia, is that the Arcturians are a sentient species from the planet Arcturus. Also according to Xenopedia, the Arcturians are humanoid, have a combination of mammalian and insect traits, and are about as intelligent as the lower apes. Not something anybody would want to be sleeping with. And so, because nobody in their right mind would brag about sleeping with a half insect, half mammal, humanoid alien that's relatively dumb compared to humans, I'm gonna guess that the Arcturian that this dude smashed probably looks more like humans do. Adding to that, apparently, it doesn't matter whether the Arcturian somebody had sex with was male or female, which means they're probably pretty damn attractive. One theory is that they're just an alien species that look just like humans, but that like some animal species here on Earth can change sexes on command. And I guess that would explain why it doesn't matter whether they're male or female, right? But another theory is that they're an actual human colony on another planet where people have been genetically altered sexually, similar to the theory of the aliens who can change sex in order to more easily and quickly colonize planets. These people, these colonists, have been genetically altered to change sex and mate, making reproduction easier and faster. In other words, these people are agendered, and that's why this jarhead hooked up with that Arcturian, and it never mattered whether they were male or female. Okay, drum roll please, because now the one and only important question you have if you're a geek and a true fan of the Alien franchise: how do the xenomorphs grow so damn fast? This is seen first and foremost in Ridley Scott's original. Yes, it happens in Covenant, but the original shows us all we need to know. That these creatures grow from the size of a weasel to the size of a velociraptor in a matter of hours. After the baby xenomorph bursts out of Kane's chest, rudely interrupting their meal, we encounter it again as it's stalking Brett. And what we see is literally hundreds, if not thousands of times bigger than what came out of Kane's chest. So how did it get so big so fast? It's not like it ate anybody and then grew. Matter of fact, it was the other way around. It grew and then it maybe ate people. It was already huge when it kills Brett. One theory is that these creatures' physiology is biological yet metallic at the same time. This probably would explain that metallic color to them, especially their jaws and teeth, and that because their biology consists of mostly metal, it somehow eats metal, and its acidic blood and digestive system somehow breaks down all the metal really fast, thus allowing for exponentially fast growth. Yet another theory is that it can essentially eat anything from flesh to plant material to soil to rock to oil, you name it. Its acid converts all that material into energy that the xenomorph can use to grow really fast. But hey, what the hell do I know? We're just a bunch of geeks. Are any of these questions in this video questions that you've ever had about the franchise? Or maybe you'd rank them differently? Maybe you have your own theories. Make sure you tell me down in the comments. I'd love to know. Did you enjoy this video? This countdown? There's more like it now and in the future. Be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that bell so you know when I upload more. Also, you can check out some more of my videos right now. Peace out.